It's a pleasure and an honor to be here representing and in representation of Remarkables. This great campaign started by Merck a few months ago, trying to find inspiring stories. I was actually a reader and I was following them, and once they reached me, I said, I'm not really sure if you want me to talk about failure. You know, this is something which is supposed to talk about good things, and I can bring a lot of, you know, bad and also some small good ones. And they said, yeah, still, we want you. So I accepted, but I need to tell about myself. I'm not a millennial. I do have something which is absolutely not compatible with being a millennial, which is I'm a dad of 2 children. And probably if I ask you how many of you do you have children are below 30, like none of you, right? Like from 1,000, I'm the one. Yeah, so definitely I'm not a millennial, right? You see? Okay, well, so yeah, I mean, I wanted to be a young dad. My partner wanted to be a young mom, so we said, you know, the hell, we tried, and we got 2. So still, I'm an ex-millennial. Well, and it's not that they are still, I mean, it's not that they are, I mean, they are different ages. Like, we wanted 2 of them. So in the end, what else can I tell you about myself? I'm from a small village near Barcelona called Olesa de Montserrat, so not exactly Silicon Valley. We can agree on that. And also that 15 years ago, like 14 years ago, a group of friends and we started some internet companies. When we started, our friends and family told us, you will fail. And actually, it was their way of protecting us. Like, you will fail. You are not born on the right place. Like, this is not Silicon Valley. You are not born in the right moment, like 2004, 2005. It was like super close to the dot-com bubble. So, wrong time, wrong place, don't do that, you will fail. Still, we tried, and we created different companies. One of them was called eyeOS, and we're creating this virtualization software, like being able to work from anywhere in the world using any device. Like, for a few years, we were the only ones believing in what we were doing, and everyone was telling us, no, you will fail, you will fail. And there was this moment where we, our project started to see some light outside our office, and a lot of people started to talk about that when big companies started to do something similar to what we're doing. They started to talk about cloud computing, and suddenly we were in their radar, so we were the really small company fighting to the giant ones. And that felt good, I must say. We had no money, we had no clear idea on how to run a business, but in the end, it felt really good to be the ones defending like the open source or the free software variant to what the giants were doing. But after 13 years, actually after the first 4 to 5 years, we learned that it was not enough to be really passionate about something. So I remember I chose the most hard and yet the best decision I ever took, which was to look for a boss. So I started looking for someone that could fire me or not. So I did some interviews to some people that I was asking them to be our boss. And once they came, they said, we hired Michel Kisfaludi, and when he came, he said, you know, I'm going to try to keep the essence, but we need to transform this into a business. So suddenly we were a company. And that company was later acquired by a Spanish big telco company, Telefónica. But what we learned in this quite a few years on doing things on the internet is that when we talk about innovation, it's not really enough to be passionate about something. We learned that the statistic they say about 80% of ideas fail, it's quite accurate. So I remember for a few years we were really willing to, you know, do anything that we could imagine, and we're really brave to start. But in the end, we also discovered that it was not enough to believe about that. So we failed in quite a few things. It was actually 1 out of 5 would actually work. 2 of them may be on the line. 2 of them would definitely fail and cost us time and money and our savings once and once again. But still, I remember that there was one important moment in my life when I discovered that my passion was not about creating companies, but about starting them. And I understood that when we want to be entrepreneurs and we want to be, you know, involved in business in somehow, it's really important to try to imagine ourselves in which place would we like to be. Like, I like to be on the beginning, like on the creative part of starting things. But I'm terribly, like, trust me, like terribly bad on continuing them, on following up and giving maturity to those ideas. So in the end, if we want to talk about innovation, I would love to share the insights we learned on these few years, working with starting companies that eventually became medium or big, or working with those who were already big. The first thing we learned, and I think it's the most important, is that you know, in the end, we need to deal with something from the beginning, which is when we start something new, we know there is 1 out of 5 chances it will work. So actually, if what we want is to earn money, it's quite more realistic. And talking about probabilities, it's quite better to go to the casino and bet to the red or the black at the roulette. Actually, it's like more than double chances that we'll be successful if we go to the casino than if we start a company. So that's the bad news, okay? But in the end, there is also something else, which is when we fail, it depends on the country you fail. It will be different, the reaction. In Spain, we kind of like to kill the ones who failed, like social killing, not actual killing, I mean, hopefully. But we also like to put the ones who succeed very, very up in the hill and admire them. I like to defend that none of those are actual healthy things to do within a society who wants to build lots of entrepreneurs. I really compare failing with going to these American Alcoholics Anonymous meetings. Like, you know, you've all probably, I don't know how many of you have been in there or you'd like to check to tell us, but in the end, I'm sure we've all seen in those TV series or movies how those meetings are. Like, a lot of people gathers together, all of them have probably drank too much, they are alcoholics, so they will share their story, and everyone will say, like, hello, Darwin, and he'll say, yeah, you know, it's like a few days since I didn't drink. But every time I failed in a project, I see myself in the mirror, and I imagine myself in one of those meetings. Like, it's kind of creepy, right? But let's try it out. Like, hello, my name is Pau, and it's been 1 year since I last failed for the last time. No, you need to say, no applause. I mean, it's like, I'm alcoholic, you know. So it's like, hello, Pau, let me try again. Hello, my name is Pau, and it's been like 1 year since I failed last time. Definitely creepy, like super weird. But still, it's kind of, it would be nice, you know, to do those things. Like, it's still creepy, but it happens. Like, you fail a lot. Luckily, the last company we founded worked well, but probably statistically, the next one will be starting will fail. So dealing with that, I think it's one of the most important things when we decide to become entrepreneurs. Still, it has a lot to do, the way we start things and the way we learn from failures and the way we learn from successful projects. I think there is like a recipe to still be alive after good and bad moments, which is a combination between having ideas, how can we be patient at our work, and how can we discover if an idea is working or not ASAP, like as soon as possible, understanding if something is not working, so moving to the next thing. Like, if we talk about the ideas, I love to understand ideas. If I ask myself, what's an idea? I think an idea is an answer to a question, although the good ideas will be the answers to the right questions, right? So how to actually know if we are in front of a right or a wrong question? Well, bad news, we'll only discover that after we've been successful or not. But still, there are a few exercises on how to quickly check if we are on the right track or not. I would like to do one quick exercise with you all, like, lively. For that, I'll need to ask you, if you could all of you grab your smartphone. Like, anyone, can you just turn on the lights for me, please? So, okay, you all have your smartphone. There is anyone who doesn't have a smartphone? Like, it's 2019, I know, but just checking. Like, anyone did not bring your smartphone? Okay, I cannot see you. ¿Podéis encender las luces, por favor? Like, ahora, gracias. Okay, so you'll have, can you just have your smartphone on your hand, okay? We're going to use it to answer. Okay, thank you. If you don't have your smartphone, just, you know, steal someone's smartphones and play for him. I'm going to ask you a quick question, and I would like you to answer with your heart. What would you do in this situation? Let's imagine in the future world, like this is 2020, 30. And we need a new car, and it looks like all the cars we can actually buy. And we need a car, okay? No scooters, like everyone is broke, so just cars. We need to imagine a world, a terrible world. There are electric, super eco, but in the end there are no trains, no planes, no Greta Thunbergs. We need cars, and it looks like they're the only available option for moving ourselves, and everything is like no bikes, so we need a car. Try not to avoid the question. Yet all the cars are completely autonomous, so we cannot drive a car, okay? So the future is kind of creepy, but let's focus on that future. So we need a new car, and the car will be completely autonomous, so the car will drive itself. There will be no steering wheel and no ability to manually control the car. And let's imagine this car is going 90 kilometers per hour on this beautiful bridge, and suddenly the car detects there are a few kids playing in the middle of the road. What the hell are doing those kids there? We are not asking that. Let's imagine this happens. So the car will start doing thousands and millions of calculations, and after a minimal part of a second, the car will discover that there is no way the car can stop before the kids. This could actually happen, right? If we were driving the car today, we would try just to stop it because we don't have sensors and we wouldn't know if we would stop it before or not. But the autonomous vehicle knows for a fact if it can stop before or not. So the car discovers there is no way to stop. So essentially, after millions of simulations, the car discovers that he or it, wherever, needs to make a decision. And there are only two options, like braking before the kids, not an option. So I'm going to either go through the kids, kill them and stop after that, or move the wheels to the right violently, break the bridge, kill the driver, and save the kids. So this is incredibly difficult for me because I do have 2 kids my own. But in the end, let's imagine this situation could happen. The car cannot fly, the car cannot jump. So my question to you is, what would you do if you were the chief innovation managers of the car companies of the future? So I went to, I'm a programmer and I'm working for you. So I went to the legal department and they said, hey, don't worry, whatever you choose, we're going to make the user sign a contract, so you are free to choose. Then I went to the marketing department and they said, you have 2 options. Option number 1, which would be raising your hand, not now when we finish the story. Option number 1 would be, hey, Pau, kill anyone you need to kill, but my client is inside the car, not outside, and those kids don't even have a bank account to give me back the favor. So I don't care about who is outside, just kill anyone, but save my client who is inside the car. That would be option 1, the hand. Option number 2 will be showing the smartphone, would be, okay, Pau, do the less damage possible in every situation. Use the artificial intelligence, and in every situation where there is an imminent danger, use artificial intelligence to check how many livable years are inside or outside. So if we have 4 kids, 5 years old in average, it means outside the car there are 360 years livable, while inside the car we have this middle-aged, middle manager from a middle-sized company, not really sporty, high cholesterol, so 30 years, okay? So option number 1, raising your hand, means kill anyone, just save my client. Option number 2, raising your phone, will mean do the less damage option in every situation you fight. So less damage, killing anyone, but saving my client. Wait a moment. ¿Podéis encender las luces, por favor? Okay. When I say 3, okay? All at the same time. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that's cool. Could the ones showing your hands, keep the hands up? Only the hands, okay? I'm interested in the hands, okay? Could you take a picture just to know who are them? You killers. No judging, yeah? No judging. Okay, thank you. Let's say there are 10 of you, 3 or 4% of you. Okay, I want to list with those names. No, just kidding. Okay, no judging. I need to give you a name. The ones showing the phone would be the world savers. The ones showing your hand will be, I don't know, heartless killers. Okay, yeah, I like that. Now, my second question. Si podéis dejar las luces encendidas un minuto, gracias. So, my next question is, okay, move on. You hate the car industry. You have to make these car choices. So you go back to your walls. So you need a new car, right? And you need to choose a new car. So now you are the client, and you go to see 1,000 new car brands, and 995 are telling you, my car is the best one. I may have to kill you. But that's okay. If you see your car is going to kill you, just breathe, and that's fine. You are saving somebody else who deserves living more than you according to an algorithm. Okay? Now you see those 10 killers that came and say, that come to you and say, hey, wait. I'm always putting your life in front of anything else. So before you choose, I would really like you to think about it. And now imagine you do have kids. So now imagine you are not alone inside the car. Next to you there is this 9-month-old baby who is your daughter, then another 3-year-old who is your younger boy, your partner, and a friend. Like your family is inside the car. And I'm really asking you to answer truly with your heart. Which car would you like to buy? Which car would you actually buy? The one that could kill your family to save another family because an algorithm chose them before you? Or a car that would always put your family's safety among anything else? And I would like you to answer the same way. So the phones would be like car that could kill me to save another one. Hands would be the car that will always protect me or my family among the other things. And I would really like you to answer truly and sincerely. When I say 3, 1, 2, and 3. Oh, that's cool. So could only the ones with the phone now keep it up? Okay, I have like 1, 2, and 3. Like, it's like either you do not have kids or you have 11. So since they don't fit all at the same time in a single car, you say, you know, some of my kids are just kidding. So in the end, you see, right? So what did we just learn? I did learn this myself too, and I chose exactly the same thing as you. But what I did learn the first time I met this, which by the way is called the train de Lima. Gracias por las luces. Ya está, sorry. What I first learned about this is that when we need to choose as a company, we like to choose something that will make us look good, like the best for the world. But when we need to choose as a client, like we want something which is good for us, right? Which we are the ones suffering it. But still, what would have happened if I made the 2 exact same questions to you in the opposite order? Like if I first asked, what do you want as clients? And everybody wants the selfish car. And then I asked you, which car are you building as a company? You all would build a car that would actually have some sales, right? So you would be surprised on how many companies in the world, small, medium, and big, and startups, do not ask their clients what do they want. They say, oh, I know what my clients want. I'm going to sell this to them. I think the most healthy first check we can do when we want to start a company is to ask to the clients, what do you want? Like, would you like to have this if I could offer you this? Probably we have more answers in front of us than the ones we may even have if we just launch a company and expect some Facebook ads to give us some sales. So fast innovation is all about having ideas, but also testing them before we actually deploy them. Like lots of companies put a lot of money and efforts into something that they could have eliminated by just asking 100 people if they would like this or not. So in the end, it's all about creating sustainable ideas. Not only sustainable because the future generations will have a quite worse world than the one we have now, but sustainable from also the business perspective. Like we need to create ideas that will sustain themselves. Even those ideas who felt great a few years ago about social and being in communications are now in front of politicians facing giant tickets because we are discovering the real businesses with our data. So in the end, it's all about trying to find ideas that will sustain themselves to make a better world, but also to actually be able to run a business with a quite transparency, a real transparency on the business model. And also without forgetting that the world is running into a huge problem in a few years, which is we are getting old and there is many of us who don't have those kids or grandkids to actually support the elderly. So if we need to create new ideas, we can see it from a really giant problem or from a really giant business perspective. No judging, but from both perspectives, there is an incredibly giant space to create things to improve the life from those who actually gave their lives for us to be where we are right now. In the end, I would just like to finish with by inviting you all from a completely humble position, because I've been able to do what I love to do for the last 13 years, so I consider myself a greatly privileged person. I would like to invite you to actually dare to fail, because only if you dare to fail, you'll be able also to be there to succeed. Because in the end, when we try to run something, we all only think about being successful. But in the end, if we know that to get there, we need to go through 3 or 4 or 5 failures, and still we are there to succeed. We'll be probably finally be there to be remarkables. And in order to continue the story, I think the best thing I could do is to leave and to welcome the person who invented the Remarkables brand. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you.